After a DNA test shattered my world, revealing her baby wasn't mine, I disappeared without a trace, until she tracked me down years later. Be me, 33-year-old Ryan, corporate lawyer in Boston, working late on Tuesday, trying to finish case files from Monday's meeting, completely exhausted. Finally driving home to our house in the suburbs, the one Grace and I bought 8 years ago, when we first found out she was pregnant. Can't wait to see my son Noah. He's everything to me. Kid keeps me sane through all the rough times. Through endless paperwork and sleepless nights. Walk into the house, call out Grace's name, expecting her usual warm welcome or Noah's cheerful laughter from the living room. Nothing but silence. House feels weirdly still, like it's holding its breath, waiting for something. Grace, Noah, I call again. Put my briefcase down by the door. Still no answer. Head upstairs. Notice something strange. Scent of vanilla everywhere. Grace's new obsession lately feels off somehow. Get this weird feeling in my gut. Try to ignore it. Think they probably went to the park, or maybe got some frozen yogurt. Something still feels wrong, though. Walking to my home office. Need to drop off some case files. Notice the door is slightly open. Step inside. My desk is a complete mess. Papers scattered everywhere. Silently curse under my breath. Noah loves playing detective at my desk. Always pretending he's solving big cases like Dad. Can't help but smile at the thought. Start collecting all the papers. Making neat stacks. That's when I see it. Plain manila folder. Never seen it before. Hidden under some old case documents. Curiosity gets the better of me. Open it up. One single paper inside. Crisp and official looking. From some genetic testing lab. Words hit me like a freight train. Paternity test results. My vision goes blurry. Hands shaking as I read. Noah's name at the top. Mine listed as presumed father. Results are brutally clear. 99.9% certainty. Negative match? Read it over and over. Brain refuses to process the words. Each syllable feels like a hammer to my skull. My legs give out, collapse into my chair. Whole room starts spinning. Can barely breathe. No, this can't be right. Whisper to myself, shaking my head in denial. Mind racing with questions. Why would this even exist? Why would Grace ever need this test? The thought that Noah isn't my biological son, it tears my heart apart, leaves me feeling exposed and raw. He has to be mine. Been there for every moment, every scraped knee, every bedtime story, every school play, every single day. Noah is my boy. But this paper tells a different story, one I'm not ready to accept. Cold sweat breaks out across my forehead. Sit there in complete shock, replaying the last 8 years in my head. How did I miss this? Was there a moment? A look? A sign when Grace betrayed me? My chest feels tight. Remember all her late nights at the office, her distant smiles, her mysterious phone calls, all the things I ignored. Now they're crashing down on me. Put the folder down carefully, like it might explode. Sit there for hours, mind stuck in an endless loop. Between disbelief and denial. Room gets darker, sun setting outside. Can't make myself move. Reality feels too heavy. Suddenly hear Grace's car in the driveway. Heart starts racing again. She comes inside, her voice cheerful and normal. No idea about the storm she's walking into. Can't confront her yet, though. Need real answers first. Undeniable ones. Not just for me, for Noah, for this family I thought was real. Hear her coming up the stairs, her heels clicking against the hardwood. Quick slip the folder back where I found it. My hands won't stop shaking. Force myself to stand up. Have to greet her, somehow manage a hollow smile. If she notices how tense I am, she doesn't mention it. Hey, honey, she says. Leans in for a kiss. Can't bring myself to return it. Everything okay? Yeah, I lie, my voice barely staying steady. Just a long day at work, but inside I'm screaming. Those test results burning in my mind, tearing me apart piece by piece. Morning sunlight coming through kitchen window. Sitting at the table now. That manila folder in front of me, like some kind of loaded weapon. My hands clenched into fists, knuckles turning white. Grace humming in the kitchen, acting like everything's normal. Like our world isn't about to shatter. Want some coffee? She asks. Voice light and casual. Like this is just another morning. Don't answer her. Can't answer her. Just stare at the folder. Those test results branded into my brain, taunting me with their brutal truth. Every doubt I ever had. Every late night wondering if something was off about Grace. All coming back now, hitting me like a tidal wave. Grace's voice falters when she turns. Ryan, what's wrong? Don't say a word. Just pick up the folder. Toss it onto the table. Watch it slide across the surface. Stops right by her hand. See her brow furrow in confusion. She looks down at it. Opens it slowly. Her lips part as she reads. Watch the color drain from her face. She goes completely pale, frozen in place. What is this? She asks, her voice barely a whisper. You tell me, I say. Can barely control the rage in my voice. Go on, explain it. Her hands are shaking when she puts the paper down. Ryan, this isn't what it looks like. Let out a bitter laugh. The sound feels foreign, sharp and painful. Not what it looks like, really? That's the best you can come up with? She swallows hard, eyes darting around the room, looking for an escape. It's nothing, I mean, it's a mistake. A misunderstanding. Slam my fist on the table. Make her jump. Don't insult my intelligence, Grace. A misunderstanding? A mistake? This says Noah isn't my son. So please tell me how exactly. Does something like that happen by mistake? She opens her mouth, closes it again, like a fish out of water. It was a long time ago, she stammers. Before we were married, I didn't even know for sure. Cut her off with another sharp laugh. Leaned forward in my chair. 12 years, Grace. 12 years of marriage. Of raising a child. Of trusting you. And you didn't think I deserved to know? Tears well up in her eyes. Only fuel my anger more. Ryan, I didn't think it mattered. You're his father. You've always been his father. The other man, he's not in the picture. He never was. Not in the picture? I shout. Stand up so fast my chair scrapes the floor. You think that makes this okay? That you lied to me? Lied to Noah? For his entire life. She's crying openly now, voice breaking as she tries to defend herself. I was scared, Ryan. I didn't know how to tell you. And after Noah was born, it didn't matter anymore. You loved him. You're his dad. Stare at her in disbelief. Didn't matter? My voice cracks. Feel like I'm choking on betrayal. It mattered to me, Grace. It mattered every time I looked at him. And thought he was a part of us. A part of me. You took that from me. You decided it didn't matter, but you didn't give me a choice. She's sobbing at the table, hands gripping the edge so tight, knuckles turning white. Ryan, please. I made a mistake, but it doesn't change anything. Noah doesn't even know. He's your son. He's ours. No. I shake my head. He's not mine. He's a lie? A lie you've been telling me. Every single day? For 12 goddamn years. Watch her face crumple. Her sobs become desperate. I didn't mean for this to happen. It was one night? I didn't even know for sure until after he was born. One night? I snap. Feel my voice rising. Can't control it anymore. You've been lying to me for over a decade, and you expect me to believe it was just one night? Do you even hear yourself? She reaches out toward me. Step back quickly. Her touch feels like poison now. Ryan, I'm sorry. I was wrong. But you have to believe me. I never wanted this to come out because I didn't want to hurt you. Or Noah. You're his dad. In every way that matters. Point at the folder on the table, my hand shaking violently. This, I say, voice low and dangerous, isn't just a piece of paper. It's proof that our entire marriage has been built on a lie. So tell me, Grace, why the hell should I believe anything you say now? She collapses into a chair, head in her hands. Her sobs echo through the room. Can't feel any sympathy. Not anymore. All I feel is betrayal. The crushing weight of it, like my whole life is crumbling. Turn and walk out of the kitchen. Leave her there, with the folder, and her excuses. Need air, need space. Most of all, need to figure out what the hell I'm going to do next. Door creaks open to my old apartment. Haven't been here in almost a decade. Dust everywhere. Air feels stale. Like a tomb for my past life. Only place I could think to go. Somewhere untouched by Grace. By all the lies. By 12 wasted years. Drop my keys on the counter. Head straight for the liquor cabinet. One of the few things I left behind. Pull out a bottle of whiskey. Pour myself a generous glass. Collapse onto the couch. Street lamp outside barely lights the room. Stare at the amber liquid. Swirling it in the glass. Can't stop replaying the morning's confrontation. Her excuses. Her tears. Her desperate attempts to explain. Like it was just a misunderstanding. Only makes me angrier. One night, she said. One single night. That rewrote my entire life. Without my knowledge. Without my consent. Bring the glass to my lips. Drain it in one go. The burn in my throat. Welcome distraction, even if it's just for a moment. Grip tightens around the glass. Think about Noah. His smile. His laugh. The way he always looks up at me. Those trusting eyes. And all along, he wasn't mine. No, I mutter out loud. Shake my head hard. Try to clear the thought. He is mine. I raised him. Taught him to ride a bike. Tucked him in at night. I'm the one he calls dad. But the cruel truth lingers. Like a shadow in the corner. Remember all the times when Grace seemed distant, the late nights, the work trips. Was I just blind, or did I want so desperately to believe? In the life we built, that I ignored every warning sign. Feel the rage building, hot and suffocating. Look at the glass in my trembling hand. Grip it tighter, then in one swift motion, hurl it across the room. Watch it shatter against the wall. Shards rain down onto the floor. Like pieces of my marriage, stand there, chest heaving, staring at what I've done, but it doesn't help. Doesn't make the betrayal hurt any less. Room feels too small, air too thick. Grab the bottle. Try to pour another glass. Hands shaking too much. Can barely hold it. End up slamming it on the counter. Sharp clink echoes in the silence. This can't go on. Can't let it fester like this. Can't let Grace's lies consume me. What little dignity I have left. Need to take control. Need to act. Need to reclaim my life before it completely falls apart. Pull out my phone. Scroll through contacts. Find a number I haven't called in years. Listen to it ring. Stare at the broken glass on the floor. Jagged edges catching the dim light. The symbolism isn't lost on me. Everything I thought I knew, shattered into pieces. "Ryan," comes a gruff voice. It's Peter, my lawyer. Old friend who helped us buy the house. "Been a while. What's up?" Words catch in my throat. Hesitate for a moment, then the image of that folder. Grace's pale face when I confronted her. Pushes me forward. "I need to file for divorce," I say. Voice hoarse but firm. Silence on the other end. "Divorce?" Peter echoes, his tone cautious. "What happened?" Close my eyes. Run a hand through my hair. "It's complicated, Peter. But I need this done. And I need it fast." Another pause. Can almost hear him thinking. "All right," he says finally. "We'll need to meet. Go over the details. Assets, custody, all of it. Want to talk about what's going on? Or should I just stick to the legal stuff?" Let out a bitter laugh. "Just stick to the legal stuff. Trust me. You don't want to hear the rest." "All right," he says again. Voice all business now. "Come by the office tomorrow. We'll get started." "Thanks," I mutter. End the call. Stand there for a moment. Phone still in hand, staring at the mess on the floor. Feel the weight of what I just did, settling over me like a heavy blanket. Divorce. The word feels strange, like it belongs to someone else's story. But it's mine now. Walk to the sink, pour the rest of the whiskey down the drain. Sharp smell fills the air. Watch it gurgle away. Don't want it anymore. The anger that drove me here, still simmering under the surface. But I know it won't sustain me. Need clarity now. Need a plan. Tomorrow I start taking my life back. But tonight, just sit in the silence of this old apartment. Only company is the ghost of a life I thought was real. Law office is cold and impersonal. The kind of place where lives unravel quietly. Sit across from Peter. Divorce papers spread out on his desk. Like some kind of battlefield map. He explains the process. Uses clinical terms, but I barely hear him. Mine is a blur. Words like divorce, custody, and assets. Swimming around like ghosts. "All you need to do is sign here," Peter says. Slides the pen across the desk. My hand hovers over the paper. Feel the weight of the decision. No doubt left now. No reason to second guess. Sign the papers. Each stroke of the pen feels like cutting myself loose from the life I thought I knew. "It's done," I say flatly. Push the papers back to him. Peter nods, his expression unreadable. "Want to discuss custody now? Or should we hold off?" Hesitate. Feel my chest tighten. Custody. Noah. The boy I raised as my own. The boy who still doesn't know the truth. Shake my head. Not now. Let Grace deal with it for now. I just need to go. Peter looks like he wants to say more, but he doesn't. Just nods and tucks the papers in a folder. "All right, I'll get this filed. Keep you updated." Leave the office feeling hollow, like a shadow of the man who walked in. My feet carry me back to the car. Before I know it, I'm driving toward the house. Our house, the place where everything fell apart. Drive feels like a blur. Radio playing softly. Rehearse the conversation in my head, the one I don't want to have. By the time I pull into the driveway, anger is already simmering, just below the surface. Not sure who I'm angrier at, Grace for her betrayal, or myself for still caring. House is quiet when I step inside. Grace is sitting in the living room, her posture tense, hands gripping the edge of the couch. Noah's school bag by the door. Reminder of the life that will never be the same. She looks up when I enter, eyes wide and cautious. "Ryan," she begins, voice soft, almost pleading. "Can we talk?" Drop my keys on the table, stare at her, feel my jaw tighten. There's nothing left to talk about. Her face crumples. For a moment, almost feel guilty. Almost then remember the lies, the years of deception. The ache in my chest turns to steel. "I went to Peter," I say, voice cold as ice. "The divorce papers are filed. It's done." Grace's breath catches. She covers her mouth with her hand, can see tears welling up, but they don't move me. "Not anymore." "Ryan, please," she whispers. "Don't do this. Think about Noah. Think about us." Let out a bitter laugh, shake my head in disbelief. "Us?" There hasn't been an us for a long time, Grace. And as for Noah, he deserves better than this. She stands up, hands trembling. I made a mistake, she says, voice cracking. But it doesn't change what we've built together. It doesn't change that you're his father. In every way that matters, clench my fists. Try to keep my voice steady. You don't get to decide what matters, Grace. You made that choice 12 years ago, when you lied to me. To him, hear Noah's footsteps, coming down the stairs. We both freeze. He stands there, eyes wide with confusion, holding his favorite book. What's going on? He asks, voice small and uncertain. My heart breaks all over again. Take a step toward him. Force a smile. Feels like it might crack my face. Nothing, buddy. Just grown-up stuff. He looks between us, brow furrowed in worry. Are you mad? Swallow hard. Crouch down to his level. No, Noah. I'm not mad. But things are going to be a little different, okay? Noah nods slowly, still unsure. But he trusts me. He always has. Okay, he says quietly. Stand up slowly. Look at Grace, tears streaming down her face. This is better for everyone, I say. Voice firmer now. Noah doesn't need this. He needs stability. And I can't give him that. Not like this. Grace doesn't respond, just nods. Her shoulders slump, like the weight of her actions, finally crushing her completely. Turn to Noah. Ruffle his hair gently. Go grab your shoes, buddy. We're going for a drive. His face brightens slightly, confusion giving way to excitement. As he runs upstairs, take one last look at Grace. So many things I want to say. So many things I want to scream. But I know it won't change anything. This is it, Grace, I say. Keep my voice quiet but firm, for all our sakes. This is how it has to be. Don't wait for her response. Turn and walk out the door. Sound of it closing behind me echoes in my ears like a final goodbye. Life after the divorce wasn't life. It was just survival. For that first year, moved through my days like a ghost. Going to work, coming home to my empty apartment, staring at the walls, wondering where it all went wrong. The silence was unbearable at first, like a vacuum, sucking all the noise out, all the warmth, all the life, the echoes of laughter, and footsteps that used to fill my home, now haunted me in that stillness. Noah, thought of him every single day, even though I tried not to. Convinced myself cutting ties completely was the best thing I could do for him. He deserved a stable life, free of the bitterness and anger that Grace and I had let grow between us. But not a day went by when I didn't wonder if I'd made the right choice, or if I'd just been too much of a coward to face the truth. Got used to being alone. Didn't have much family to lean on. My parents had passed years ago. Was an only child. Friends drifted away after the divorce. Unsure how to navigate the fractured pieces of my life. So I adapted, worked late hours, found hobbies to fill the gaps, told myself that solitude was freedom. But deep down I knew it was just a hollow substitute for the connection I'd lost. Years blurred together. Stop keeping track of time. Stop asking mutual acquaintances about Noah or Grace. They become like characters from a book I'd read long ago, distant and fictional. And then one evening, 8 years after I walked out, there's a knock at my door. Frown to myself. Wasn't expecting anyone. Rarely get visitors these days. Shuffle to the door. Open it slowly. Find a young man standing there. His frame silhouetted against the setting sun. Looks to be in his late teens. Tall and lanky. Face both familiar and foreign. Can I help you? I ask cautiously. The young man hesitates. His lips twitch into a nervous smile. Dad? The word hits me like a punch to the gut. Blink several times. Mind struggling to process what I'm seeing. And then it clicks. Those eyes, those unmistakable brown eyes, that mirror my own. My breath catches in my throat. Noah? I whisper, voice barely audible. He nods. His smile grows wider, though it's tinged with something. Can't quite place it. Fear, maybe, or desperation. Yeah, it's me. For a moment, can't move. The years seem to collapse. All at once, all I can see is the little boy I left behind. My feet move before my brain catches up. Pull him into a hug. He stiffens at first, then relaxes. His arms wrap around me in return. Come in, I say. Pull back and gesture toward the living room. God, come in! Noah steps inside, glances around the apartment. It's not much, just a small, sparsely furnished space, but he doesn't seem to mind. Sits on the edge of the couch, fidgeting with his jacket hem. Can see now that he looks tired. Worn in a way no teenager should look. What are you doing here? I ask. Sit across from him. Not that I'm not thrilled to see you, but it's been so long. Noah hesitates. His gaze drops to the floor. I didn't know where else to go, he admits. Things have been bad, really bad. My stomach twists. What do you mean? What's going on? He sighs heavily, runs a hand through his hair. Mom lost her job a few months ago. She's been trying to find something else. But it's hard. We've been struggling to keep up with rent. And bills. She won't admit how bad it is. But I can see it. I hear her crying at night. Sit back in my chair. Weight of his words sinking in. Grace losing her job. Struggling to make ends meet. Not what I expected to hear. Despite everything that happened between us. Never wished hardship on her. Especially not when it affected Noah. Why didn't you come sooner? I ask. Voice softer now. Noah shrugs. His eyes misting over. I didn't think you'd want to see me. I mean, after everything. His words hit me like another blow. Guilt surges through me. Lean forward. Place a hand on his shoulder. Noah, you're my son. Nothing changes that. I'm sorry if I ever made you think otherwise. He nods, lips pressed into a thin line, fighting back tears. I didn't know if you'd help, but I had to try. Mom doesn't know I'm here. She'd kill me if she found out. Of course I'll help, I say firmly. Whatever you need, I'll do it. Noah looks up. Relief floods his face. Really? Yes. I'll figure something out, I promise. Though I have no idea how. But I mean it, for the first time in years. Feel like I have a purpose again, a reason to fight. Noah has come back into my life. And I'm not going to let him down. Not this time. Days after Noah's visit are a whirlwind. Move with purpose now, driven by a single-minded goal. Helping my son. The years of solitude and regret fade into the background. Throw myself into fixing what's left of my broken family. It's not about Grace anymore. It's about Noah. It always has been, even when I didn't know it. A father's promise. First step is understanding everything. Noah fills me in on all the details. His voice heavy, like someone forced to grow up too fast. Grace lost her marketing job. Company made budget cuts. At first she managed, kept things going with savings. But as months passed, no stable work in sight. Bills just kept piling up. She took whatever job she could find, but it wasn't enough to cover everything. Noah started skipping meals at school, trying to save money for groceries. Hearing him tell it feels like a dagger to my chest. I left thinking it was right, but my absence only made things harder, made their burden heavier. Noah, I say one evening, after another long talk about their struggles, I'm going to help you. Both of you. We'll figure this out together. His eyes well up, but he doesn't cry, just nods. Can see the weight on his shoulders. Getting a little lighter, extending an olive branch. Hardest part is contacting Grace. After everything that happened, just thinking about hearing her voice. Almost unbearable. But this isn't about me. It's about Noah. Call her once. No answer. Try again. This time her voice comes through. Cautious and weary. Ryan? Grace, I say. Voice steadier than expected. I know Noah came to see me. Long pause, then a deep sigh. I told him not to bother you. Shake my head. Even though she can't see me. Grace, I want to help. He's my son too. No matter what's happened between us. Her voice cracks when she speaks. I didn't think you'd care. Not after everything. I care. I say firmly. I always have. Let me help. Another pause. What do you want to do? A new chapter begins. Over the following weeks, work tirelessly to get them back on their feet. Pay off their overdue rent. Take care of all utilities. Help Grace find a stable job. Through an old contact. She's hesitant at first, her pride bruised, but eventually accepts the help. Noah starts spending weekends with me. We rebuild our bond, the one that time and distance strained, but never really broke. We talk about everything. School, his friends, his plans for the future. He wants to go to college, study engineering. Promise him I'll help him get there. No matter what it takes, Grace and I keep things civil. No rekindling the relationship, no going back to what we once had. But there is forgiveness, a quiet understanding that we both need to let go of the past for Noah's sake. Years later, sitting in the audience at Noah's college graduation, feel something I haven't felt in years. Pride, my son standing tall and confident, has overcome the chaos and pain of our fractured family to become someone extraordinary. When he crosses the stage, shakes hands with the dean, can't help but cheer louder than anyone else in the room. Afterward, standing together in the bustling crowd, Noah pulls me into a hug. Thanks, Dad, he says, voice thick with emotion. For what? I ask. Though I already know. For being there, he says simply. Look at him, my chest tight, with love and gratitude. Always Noah. Always. Closing the chapter. Looking back now, realize life rarely goes as planned. It twists and turns, throws you off course, forces you to reevaluate what truly matters. Thought I'd lost everything when I walked out of that house all those years ago, but I hadn't. The love between a father and son is unshakable. No matter the obstacles, in the end, it wasn't about the betrayal or the heartbreak. It was about redemption, about realizing that even in the darkest moments, there's always a way to rebuild, to heal, to move forward. And as I watch Noah step into his bright future, know I've finally found peace, not because I've forgotten the pain of the past, but because I've chosen to let it go.